What happens when the greatest trash talker in the NBA goes head-to-head with the greatest basketball player of all time? One talks too much, the other dominates. One pushes, the other punishes. This was more than a finals matchup. It was Michael Jordan versus Gary Payton, brains versus bravado, defense versus destiny.
In Seattle, Michael Jordan.
But on the night of June 16, 1996, it was clear who stood taller, and it wasn't just because of height. Jordan didn't just win, he outlasted, outsmarted, and outplayed Gary Payton on the biggest stage of them all.
The confidence and determination evident for the Sonics today.
Today, we're deep diving into the final chapter of that war, Game 6 of the 1996 NBA Finals, the moment where Michael Jordan finally shut the door on Gary Payton and the Seattle Supersonics. You think defense wins championships? Not against Jordan, it doesn't.
Luke Longley running the floor in Sean Kemp.
So grab your popcorn because this wasn't just basketball, this was a statement. The Bulls were already up 3-2 in the series, but the momentum, that was slowly shifting. Seattle had won games 4 and 5, and Gary Payton had been all up in Jordan's face, quite literally. Elbows, taunts, relentless pressure, and it worked at least for a little bit. Jordan's shooting percentages dropped, and people started asking the impossible, could Gary Payton be getting into MJ's head?
He knew on the roll, the shot clock winding down, there's 7 seconds on the shot clock, Michael decides.
Payton, also known as the Glove, prided himself on being the league's best defender. He talked smack every second he was on the floor, and in games 4 and 5, he was finally assigned to guard Jordan full-time. That decision changed the series, temporarily.
Last February when they lost it in Denver and in Phoenix, here's Payton again off the spin.
Heading into Game 6, the tension was thick. Would this be a Game 7, or would Michael Jordan put his stamp back on the series and on Payton? One way or another, somebody's legacy was about to be rewritten, and there was more on the line than a trophy. For Jordan, this finals run was personal. It was his first full season back from retirement, the first since his father was murdered. The entire season had been a tribute to the man who always sat courtside with him. Now, Jordan was one win away from finishing that tribute the right way, with a title. Right from the jump of Game 6, you could feel it. The Bulls weren't messing around. Michael was locked in, quiet and intense. No smirks, no talks, all business. And that's how you knew he meant trouble.
Here is Jordan, kicking it out.
Gary Payton came out aggressive, looking to score early. He wasn't afraid, he never was. But Jordan was ready. Even though MJ's shots weren't falling the way they usually do, he just went 5 for 19 from the field. His impact was felt everywhere else. Free throws, nearly perfect. Leadership, unmatched. Control, total.
The Sonics 3-on-2 developing, but the Bulls get back. Gronkowski.
He slowed the game down. He dictated the tempo, and he drew fouls, getting to the line again and again. You could see Gary getting frustrated. The harder he tried to disrupt Jordan, the more it seemed like Jordan had already anticipated every single move.
For Chicago, they're taking the ball to the basket. They're not settling for the perimeter game.
Yeah, that's what Jordan attempts to do.
The Bulls led after the first quarter, but barely. But the signs were clear. Michael wasn't going to need 40 points to win this game. He was going to beat Payton another way, with patience, poise, and presence. And here's the twist. While everyone was watching the battle between Jordan and Payton, there was another player silently destroying Seattle's chances, and that was Dennis Rodman.
The foot speed or quickness to jam Jordan on the perimeter, beautiful entry pass.
Rodman was everywhere, diving for loose balls, pulling down offensive boards, getting into Seattle's head without even scoring. He grabbed 19 boards that night, 11 of them on the offense. That's 11 extra chances for the Bulls to score. 11 times he beat Seattle to the ball. 11 times he made the Sonics pay for blinking.
In the first half, here's the double team on Jordan, who's able to beat it, and that is foul.
This was the Rodman who earned his Hall of Fame spot, and Jordan knew it. Every time the Bulls needed a momentum shift, Rodman gave them one. And with Rodman dominating the paint, Payton's defensive efforts on Jordan began to lose its edge. Why? Because the Bulls didn't need Jordan to drop 40. They just needed him to stay cool and let the rest of the team take care of it.
He needs a lot more time than just a day or two's rest.
The energy Rodman brought spilled over to the whole team. Scottie Pippen was active on both ends. Ron Harper played hurt, but still managed to clamp down on Seattle's guards. Luke Longley, the unspoken hero, added key buckets and rebounds. This was a team effort, but Jordan was the conductor.
3-on-2 as they spread the floor. Pippen for Rodman on the right. And it counts.
And if you're enjoying this breakdown of NBA greatness, don't forget to subscribe right now. We've got more stories, more rivalries, and more legendary showdowns coming your way every single week. Hit that bell icon too, so you never miss the next moment where history was made. Let us know your favorite Jordan moment in the comments below. We read them all, and some of the best ones might just end up in our next video. Alright, back to the game. Third quarter. This was it. Seattle made a push. Sean Kemp, their high-flying forward, tried to take over. Payton drove inside, hit tough shots, and tried to fire up his team. For a moment, the Bulls looked shaky. The lead was down to single digits. But then, Michael Jordan made the most important play of the game. And it wasn't a dunk or a fadeaway. It was a foul-drawing, hard-fought, simple trip to the line. The clock stopped. The crowd rose. And Jordan sank both free throws, ice cold.
Well, Michael's still struggling from the field at 4 for 12, but like all the great scorers in the history of basketball, when they do not have...
That moment shifted everything. Then came the steal. Jordan, reading Payton's moves like a book, picked his pocket and took it down the other end. He didn't dunk, he didn't show off, he just laid it in, quiet, focused, lethal. That's when the game started slipping from Seattle's fingers. And no matter how much Payton barked, it was clear Jordan had silenced the noise. And when Seattle needed to rally again in the fourth, they simply couldn't. Their energy was drained, their shots were rushed, and Gary Payton, their vocal leader, was suddenly very quiet. With under 5 minutes left, the Bulls were up by double digits. The Supersonics had no answer. Payton kept fighting, kept shouting, kept scrambling, but Jordan, he just smiled. That quiet, dangerous smile.
By 16 in the crowd.
It wasn't about flashy plays anymore. It was about execution. Scottie Pippen added clutch baskets, Luke Longley hit mid-range jumpers, Ron Harper, playing through the pain, locked down Seattle's guards. The crowd at United Center was going off, sensing the title was minutes away. And then came the final dagger. Michael Jordan at the line, again. 2 more shots, nothing but net. The game ended 87-75. The Bulls were champions yet again, and Jordan, he stood at the center of it all, arms raised, tears in his eyes. It was Father's Day, the first since his dad's murder, and that emotion, that quiet heartbreak, spilled out as he lay on the locker room floor, sobbing with the game ball in his arms. He did it, not just for himself, not just for the city of Chicago, but for his father.
We're in the final second. The Chicago Bulls.
So how did Michael Jordan defeat Gary Payton? Not with his best shooting night, not with one legendary highlight, but with control, with leadership, with willpower. He didn't let Gary's trash talk distract him. He didn't let the pressure of Game 6 crack him. He outlasted the glove not by overpowering him, but by staying calm while Payton burned hot. That's the difference between great and greatest. And when the buzzer sounded, Payton had to watch Jordan lift that trophy because talk fades, but championships are forever. Now,
but how much sweeter was this one? Well, I can't even put it in words.
Here's our question for you. If Gary Payton had guarded Michael Jordan from Game 1, do you think the Sonics could have won the series? Or was Jordan always going to rise no matter what? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we want to hear your take.